Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Jay the One-Eyed Gamer video. Man, 2019 was such a good year for games, but now we look to the horizon with 2020 right around the corner, but I can't help but think about some of the games I'm looking forward to next year, specifically these 5 games in particular. But before we get into that, guys, please feel free to leave me a comment in the comments section, let me know what you think of my choices, and also feel free to tell me what your most anticipated games of next year are going to be. But without further ado, guys, let's jump right into this with number 5. Kicking off the list, we're going to be looking at a franchise that I basically just got introduced to in the past couple years, and that is the Untitled franchise, and it has become one of my favorites so far. I remember being introduced to this franchise via the anime for the very first game, which never came out in the West, but now with Untitled Prelude of the Fallen coming out early next year thanks to NIS, because it looks like Atlas didn't want to pick up the property, we'll be able to finally see the franchise's roots. Now, Mask of Deception and Truth were some of my favorite games the years they came out, and Truth, honestly, I could put on my favorite games of all time list just because I loved the storytelling, I loved the combat, it was very engaging for a strategy RPG, and I also loved the characters, how they were handled, how they felt, how they interacted with each other. I thought it was a great story, and I'm looking forward to see how the franchise got its start, and I'm very happy that it's coming over to the West. We don't know a lot of information on it, but it has been out in Japan, I think, for a year or two now, so any information that is out there has already been translated by really dedicated fans, which is a good thing. And honestly, I just can't wait to see this, because it's going to have updated graphics to look more like Mask of Deception and Truth. The combat's going to look better, and I think this is a great way for people to get started into the franchise if they didn't pick up Mask of Truth or Deception. So I'm really looking forward to this game, and that's why I put it here to kick off the list at number 5. The next game on our list pretty much comes from 2 franchises I love very much, and one that actually sparked the idea for this channel, and that being One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. And what I love about it is a combination of 2 of my favorite things. I love One Piece, and I love the Warrior franchise, and I always thought that One Piece would make a good Warrior franchise, and apparently so did Koei Tecmo, because we have 4 of them, and each game I think has been great. They've let you play it as the Straw Hats and some various fan favorites, and they've always told the story of the franchise. The first game was just a telling all the way up to the Marineford and a little bit into the New World, but then One Piece Pirate Warriors 2 was essentially its own brand new story, and then One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 was a great way for people who are interested in the story, didn't want to actually read the manga, could get snippets of it because they covered pretty much from the beginning of the franchise all the way up to that current arc, which was Dressrosa. And now with Pirate Warriors 4, we're pretty much going from Alabasta all the way to the Wano arc, so I'm really looking forward to that. And there are a multitude of characters that they can pull from, both new and returning, because we do know it is going to be a 40 playable roster, so I'm looking forward to see what the final roster is going to be. And just to toot my own horn right now, when I did my top 5 characters that I hope show up in One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 videos, so far I've only gotten 1 right, and that was Kaido, my number 2 pick, and I honestly didn't think he was going to be that because he looks so freaking huge, but I'm really happy that he's announced playable, and I really can't wait for this game. It's honestly probably my most anticipated Warrior game next year, definitely beating out Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate, which is just, in my mind, an upgrade pack, but that's why I put One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 here at number 4. The next game on this list I was kind of surprised existed because it was revealed prior to the Microsoft press event this year at E3, and I remember making a video on it hoping that this was real and hoping that this wasn't just an elaborate like scheme, because people around E3 tend to kind of like to make rumors and go pretty crazy with like speculation and reveals of games. So I was pleasantly surprised when Tales of Arise was announced the following day at the Microsoft press event. It did suck that it was leaked, but that still didn't change the hype level for me. Like, this game looked awesome. I wasn't expecting a brand new Tales game, let alone one that looks this great. We got to see the main hero, the heroine, and as the year went on, we pretty much got more information about them. We got more look at the combat, and we got a reveal of potentially a brand new party member. Now, we didn't get any new information at Jump Fest, which I find very disappointing, but I can understand why they didn't, because I believe as of Tokyo Game Show, they stated that development on the game is only about 40 to maybe 50% done, and they hadn't even finished recording all the lines yet. So I can understand why they don't want to talk about the game right now. But honestly, I'm just starving for information because I just want to know more about this game, because like I said, the world looked interesting, the characters looked interesting, and the combat looked very interesting from what we could see, and I definitely want to see someone playing it and see what the UI and the hub looks like. But I can wait, but not for too long, you know. But that's kind of why I wanted to put Tales at my number 3 spot, because like I said, I didn't think this game was going to exist until next gen, so I'm very happy that it's real, and I can't wait for any more information on this game in the coming year. Now we come to the top 2, guys, and this one was really hard to do between this game and my number 1 pick because I'm very hyped for both of them, like insanely hyped. My levels for both are pretty much like on the same, but I had to weigh them against each other and pretty much ask myself the question, which game is coming out in 2020, because that's what the title of this video is, and that's why this game had to go down to number 2, because we don't have a release date for it yet, and that is of course Granblue Fantasy Relinks. Now, I am beyond hyped for this game because of the trailer we got from the festival, and of course the gameplay we got to see, and the gameplay looks amazing. Like, oh my god, if you can see this, if you've watched it, it just looks so great. We got to see the reveal of the remaining 2 Dragon Knights, but now we have the full set with Siegfried, Percival, Lancelot, and Vayne, and it just looks amazing. The game looks so great considering the last time we saw it in action. With Cygames taking what they learned from Platinum and going forward, this is great. Like, this game definitely produced the hype level. This definitely got people interested in Granblue, and I've been putting a lot of time into the cell phone game, which I've been enjoying immensely, and honestly, I could put it up there with maybe my favorite game of 2019 next to Devil May Cry 5, because I've just been that engrossed because these characters are so interesting and this world is interesting. But again, like I said, it slipped to number 2 because Cygames hasn't given us a release date, and I understand that because they don't want to do it again. Remember, they did have it slated, I think, for 2018, but they couldn't meet that deadline, and they didn't want to do that again, and I respect that 100%, that they don't want to give us a release date until they are super sure that it is going to release on that date. And to that I say, Cygames, take as much time as you need. I just want this game to continue the level of polish and exciting gameplay that we saw just from this new gameplay trailer going forward, and I think we're going to get a lot of brand new information in the coming year, which I'm definitely looking forward to, and hopefully I can report to you guys. But that's kind of why I said this slips to my number 2 spot, just because it doesn't have that firm release date. But it still doesn't change the fact that I'm super hyped for this game, and you guys should be too. Then there was one. To be fair, all the games on this list, in my personal opinion, get me hyped one way or another. Now, they all have varying degrees of it, but they're all games I'm really looking forward to next year. But one game in particular, my hype level hasn't stopped since it was revealed, and it's a miracle that this game exists, and that is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I can vividly remember the Sony press event where we finally got to saw that reveal trailer. It was a CG trailer, but it was so amazing, and the fact that it existed alone sent me into an insane hype I hadn't felt in years. Now, honestly, when Square Enix said that it was going to be like an episodic game, I thought, oh my god, no, not like Telltale's. They should have clarified better that they wanted to make something like the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. Big, full-price games with enough content to back it up. And, you know, you can argue whether that's a good idea or a bad idea, but I just love the fact that this game exists and that we're finally going to be able to get to play it next year. And honestly, from what I've seen of some of the trailers, the gameplay that they've shown off, all the events and all the information they've given us on this game, it feels like Square Enix knows that this is a very beloved game and that people are super hyped for it and want this to succeed. And I'm one of those people. Like, to me, the reason this game is here, besides, like I said, with Relinks, it has a firm release date of next year, is honestly the nostalgia, because much like you guys, I'm an old gamer, and my childhood was around like the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 era, and I vividly remember my older brother playing this game. I would sneak down to the basement and watch him play this game with these characters, and I didn't understand any of it because, you know, I was a kid, but I loved how my brother would just, you know, let me watch him play the game and just interact with him. And to me, those are precious memories that I could never trade or never get rid of. And that's kind of a little biased for this game, even though I know it's not the same, but those memories and feelings. And eventually when I was able to play the game on my own and it became one of my favorite games of all time that I can keep going back to playing over and over again, it just holds a special feeling in your heart, you know, when you have that game or something, it takes you back to that time and just brings back those happy memories of simpler days. Like, that's why this game is here for me. And I know that for the development team and a lot of other people, that game holds such special memories just like that. And that's why I think all the games in this Final Fantasy trilogy, saga, whatever you want to call it, I think they're going to be good. Because I think, like I said, this is being handled with love and care from people who grew up playing these games and loving these characters just like us. And that's just the vibe I get. And I apologize if that sounds a little dramatic or something, but I just wanted to convey to you guys why this is my number 1 choice and why I'm so hyped for this game that by all rights probably shouldn't even exist. But the fact that it is, and the fact that Square is willing to put in all this energy, effort, and love into it, it just speaks volumes of this game, its legacy, and what it means to people. And that's kind of why I put it at my number 1, because of the memories, the love and care I've seen in it, and honestly, just being blown away by how great it looks. I can't praise the game even more, even though I never played it, but everything I've seen for it just hammers in that this game will probably be awesome, and going forward, the other games will probably share the same fate as it, being amazing games that introduce brand new people to this world, to these characters, to the story. Things that we've loved will now be able to be shown to younger generations, and they will get to feel the same feelings we had when we played the very first game all those years ago. Whew. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't mean to get that intense and, you know, passionate about it, but I love video games. It's pretty much my favorite pastime and my favorite medium, and the fact that we live in a timeline where some of these games are coming out is amazing. And like I said at the beginning of the video, please let me know what you thought of my choices, and please tell me what games you're looking forward to next year. It doesn't matter matter console, it doesn't matter if you know what's coming out next year or not, like just what games are you excited for? Because I really want to know, and it's very interesting to see what you guys have to say about that. And hopefully if you guys have stuck around this long, I'd also like to say thank you very much for this year. This was a great year. I wasn't expecting to get 200 and at least 58 subscribers as of right now before the end of the year. Like, that's amazing. I also wasn't expecting to be super blown away by some of these games, like Relinks looks so awesome, and Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be here really soon, and all the other games on this list. Those are the games I'm personally interested in, and I could talk about this for hours, but I don't want to bore you guys. And like I said, I want to thank you guys very much for the support. I want you guys to have great holiday too. Be safe out there, and I want to see you guys next year too. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank you very much for a wonderful year. I want you all to have a great day and a safe holidays, and remember, let's rock!